see you. So in today's video, I will be talking about Jonathan Brandis, actor Jonathan Brandis. And you probably remember that name from the 90s. A lot of people do, but it's a story that not everyone fully knows. So I came to his apartment here, well, his former apartment, where he died on November 12th, 2003 at the age of 27. And today actually is April 13th, which would have been his 50th birthday. I had no idea. Before I left the house, I looked up the day he was born, and it's April 13th. Today, April 13th, 1976, was his birthday. So his birthday is today, 50 years old. And here is the apartment that Jonathan Brandis lived in. It's right off of, like, near Wilshire. And he lived on the second floor of this building. I'm not sure what unit it was. So his death was officially ruled a suicide, and he was found hanging in the hallway of this building on November 11th, where then he was taken to the hospital, I think right up those steps, to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead the very next day, November 12th, 2003. So Jonathan Brandis started acting at a very young age, and by the time he was a kid, he was already modeling and appearing in commercials. But it didn't take long before Hollywood noticed him, and his big break came with Sequest DSV, where he played Lucas Wolinchak. It was about a teenage genius on a futuristic submarine. And just like that, he became one of the biggest teen stars of the early 90s. And around the same time, he also starred in the Neverending Story 2, the next chapter. And that only added to his popularity. You know, he had the look, the talent, and that quiet, thoughtful energy that really made people connect with him. If you remember from the 90s, he was in the movie Sidekicks with Chuck Norris. I remember that movie. I loved that movie when I was a kid. And he was also in Ladybugs. So as you could see, he was, in some pretty big movies. His name was getting out there. And that's what makes it so tragic. He had so much potential as an actor, an up-and-coming actor. So there wasn't a single confirmed reason why Jonathan Brandis chose to take his own life. But people close to him said he had been struggling a lot and was reportedly dealing with depression and, of course, the slowdown in his acting career. And he was cast in the movie Heart's War with Bruce Willis, and I think Colin Farrell was in that film as well. And that was a role that he hoped would revive his career, but most of his scenes were cut from the film, which, of course, he was depending on that movie to revive his career. And he got very upset, of course. Who wouldn't get upset about that? And he got very down about it. And he started drinking more, apparently. And his father suggested also that he might have been dealing with an undiagnosed bipolar disorder. I'm going to take a look at the design of this building. Kind of looks, oh, of course, a man with a weed eater would be over here. But it kind of looks like a castle. You can see these chains right here and the dungeon gate. Look at the cat. He's the king of the castle. So when you look back at Jonathan Brandis's work, you don't just see a teen idol. You know, you see someone, like I said, that had real potential. And, you know, someone that grew up in front of millions of people and then quietly struggled when the world stopped watching. So yeah, it's just a really sad case of being a huge teen star in the 90s, and then his death is often talked about as the darker side of child stardom. Today being his, well, what would have been his 50th birthday, April 13th, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and you know, happy birthday, happy heavenly birthday to Jonathan Brandis. And so, you know, standing here thinking about his life, it really makes you realize how different things can be behind the scenes, and that fame doesn't always mean happiness. It doesn't always immediately mean happiness. It doesn't change things like a lot of people think it would. And, you know, sometimes the people who seem the brightest, seem the happiest, seem like they're the most fulfilled people that bring joy to other people's lives, you know, sometimes those people are the ones that are dealing with the things that we never see. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and rest in peace to Jonathan Brandis. And just want to get another shot of where he used to live on the second floor. And I'm just gonna say it was maybe right there. One of these units, possibly, maybe in the back, I'm not sure. Couldn't find the information about that. But all the noise, all the wind. If you made it this far in the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching. Leaf blowers everywhere.